Welcome back everyone to the Grapevine tutorials. We're going to take a look today at some of the more complex functions in Grapevine, plots, actions, rumors, and we're going to see how you can use that to make running your game a little bit easier. First things first, for plots, actions, rumors, all that, you need to have game dates set up. So this is fairly simple. You just go into the game dates, it's up here, it's the calendar, and you make sure that any game date that you have has been checked off. You add a game date simply by clicking, so if I know I'm going to have one on July 9th, July 9th. Try not to get too far ahead of your schedule, otherwise it makes it a pain to find the most recent things in your database. From there we're going to start with plots. Now this is obviously a tool for any of the plots that you have running, but what it lets you do is assign plot developments to different dates, key characters, and keep a list of what's happened when in any given plot. So as you can see, I've put two plots in here right now. If I go to list all plots, Big Baddie in Town, which is probably your combat character plot, and Puzzle for Brainiacs, or any of your brainier characters. You can also view by title, and this will show you how many developments are in each plot. Obviously I don't have any yet, so let's go fix that. Double click on Big Baddie in Town. Start date, you choose which date the plot is starting, so we'll say April 9th, why not? We're going to say a big bad guy is going to kill the prince. We don't know what the end date is yet, whenever the players resolve it, so we'll leave that as none for now. We'll go to narrator. I should point out, anything in here comes from your player information tab. Just make sure that their position is listed as storyteller or narrator, and they'll be available to select from this list. So we'll say that the HST guy is the one who's in charge of this plot. Over here you have key characters. This will let you put in which characters are actively involved in the plot. So we're going to say that of our vampires, because it's something about the prince, the Christopher Dean character is a key character, as well as whoever Anthony Hannibal Richards is. In plot developments, this is where you start adding updates. There are two ways you can do this. You can do it from this screen. If you're in the actual plot, you hit add new development. You choose a date for the plot development. So we'll say on April 23rd there's a development. Double click on that, and this will let you take a look at development. The affected by and effects I'll go over in a moment, but that basically lets you tie into other actions, rumors, and plots. So for this plot development, we'll say the bad guy punched the prince in public, and that happened on the 23rd. Now if we exit out of here, you can see on April 23rd the Big Baddie in Town has a plot development, none anywhere else. Now what you can do, for example, let's say I go to Puzzle for Brainiacs. We'll say this has this April 23rd start date, and we'll say the plot is when the prince got punched, a magic puzzle appeared. Why not? Again, you can add whatever characters you want. Now if I add a development here on April 23rd, and I say the puzzle appears, this is affected by another plot, Big Baddie in Town. So the Big Baddie in Town plot caused this to happen. I can also say effects, and this can affect, again, an action, a plot, or a rumor. We'll go over actions and rumors in a moment, but in this way you can actually tie all of it together and say, this is the cause for this rumor showing up, this is the cause for this person's action failing, or this person's action is the cause for a plot, or plot development. Now what you can do afterwards is pull up reports on your different plots. So if you go to Save File, you can get a plot report for any of your plots, and it will have all of the information condensed into, well, not a single sheet, but into a single report. So you can pass it around to different storytellers. This is great if you have a number of plots that one storyteller is running primarily, but if they can't be there for whatever reason, and you still need action on the plot, you at least have a summary of the information that's out there. Anyhow, we'll go on to actions from here. Actions follow a very similar format. You'll see that they're assigned by character. And again, there are two views. You can view it by what character's done actions and what date they've been done. So the first thing we'll do is say July 9th, and we add a new action. You choose the person, so we'll say whoever this person is, and we enter into his action. Now, the simple actions are basically someone does something in personal action and you put it in personal results. This is also useful for doing influence actions. To do that, go to Show Advanced Actions, and now there are different categories of actions here. I'm going to add common actions, and this character apparently doesn't have any influence, but he does have contacts. So if I go to Personal and say investigating the haunted mansion, and the results of that action are that he meets Casper. That's all set, so we go there. And then contacts. With his contacts, he's looking for info on industrial stuff. And then he finds out about patents. What you do here is say what he's used. So for example, he has 2 levels of contacts. We'll say he used 2 levels there. Oh, I'm sorry, of total. So he has 2 levels used. So now it shows that he has no contacts available. He has 0 out of 2 unused. You can also use this to mark growth in an area. You don't necessarily have to tie these to a number value. I know a lot of people use influence systems out there that have a sub value. For some people call them pips. So for example, I have 50 pips as a level 5 influence person, and you use that to measure growth and so on and so forth. You can actually edit the settings so that that appears differently. If you want to do that, it's in game settings, action settings, and you can see how the action value is tied into it. You can also give other backgrounds action values, so contacts and resources is standard. You can add others. And once again, you have the affected by and effects column. So you can say this action is caused by a plot, contact action, whatever you want to do. Note that I don't see any plot causes here, but if I change the date back to April 23rd, where I had plot developments, I can say that this action, despite being a month or 2 later, was still caused by that plot development. And again, effects is the same thing. You can really see where it comes in handy if I add a character with a lot of influence. So for example, I think this guy had a lot of influence. If I show advanced actions and then add common actions, yeah, obviously right there he's stacked on influence, so you can go through, put right on his in his actions what he did and what the results are. When you print out a character sheet, you have the option to include actions and rumors directly on the character sheet. If you go to the character sheet section, it's under dates and options. you can say, oh, well, this is action and rumor report right here, but if I go to character sheets, I can include actions, I can include rumors. That will append them to the end of the character sheet, and only those that apply to the character. So if you have a character who took a bunch of actions in downtime, you can actually give them the results of all of those actions right on their character sheet the next time they check in.